This is a Hot Pie Original.
Hey, look, you are over the COVID legal fights. You've heard enough. You don't want to hear any more. You've seen enough. That's it. You're checking out. Well, except you can't check out and you can't be over the COVID legal fights because it's in your face every single day. We can't even have Sunday without a COVID legal fight because Sunday turned into a giant legal fight. Can you imagine being in the public school system right now? Oh my gosh. I mean, it's a pretty tough gig anyway. You don't know what to make of each day. You don't know what to make of each hour about the legality of what you do at work or what you don't do at work or anything for that matter. Not even on a Sunday. Imagine, if you can, and it should matter to you. And for most people, most of us, particularly with kids, you don't get to take a pass on this one. But in 12 hours yesterday, the entire legal mandate in this state and public education had changed and been turned on its head. If you want to follow it or not follow it. So what do you do? I mean, imagine, and I think this is fairly simple to imagine. And as much as all of us are frustrated and sick and tired of the whole thing, we can't really be that sick and tired of the whole thing because there it is. There's no getting away from it. That is the legal fight, not just the medical issues, but the legal fight itself. And I think there's a new frontier coming. I think there's a new battle, a far more, honestly, probably even a more interesting battle that is hanging out there. I really do. Because I think this thing is going to get even more bizarre. Because it's pretty bizarre now. So here you go. Let's take Sunday for just an example, taxpayers. And yes, you have no option, but it's on you, taxpayers. Imagine if the public school system does what it did, 36 hours ago and says, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks. We're going to come up with our own rules about COVID, masking, vaccines, blah, blah, blah. And thanks, we're going to move along now. Then, in a pretty quick 12-hour turnaround, you were told by the very moral, righteous, in fact, the moral compass of all people of Texas, the Attorney General, that you're breaking the law and you better look out. So now what happens when you make a mistake or knowingly say, I hear you, righteous one, but we're going to go ahead and move on with our plan. He's already tweeted out, you're breaking the law. Now what? Imagine how weird this starts to look and how weird it starts to look pretty quickly. Not to mention the confusion that everybody now has. And you can blame all that confusion anywhere you want. I have a very simple response. You could have started here, Greg Abbott would be in a far better position, I think, which is another weird part to all this. So it's all weird, but it's in your face and it's changing every single day. And we don't know what the next round of fighting is going to look like. But we do know this one. We do know that your Attorney General and your governor, the Abbott-Paxton fighting team, has happily tweeted out, you public school people are breaking the law. Because there is no better crusader of the law than the, felony indicted Attorney General whose office was raided by the FBI. That man knows the law. So here we go. Team Greg Abbott and Ken Paxton went to the Supreme Court. I told you on Friday, I thought that was the way it was going to play out. I mean, it seems to me that, I'm no lawyer, but it seems to me that Greg Abbott, who's no fool, remember, this is not Donald Trump. This is not a buffoon. I have to say it over and over again. He's certainly not a legal buffoon. His Attorney General might be, but Abbott is not. So then they get the Supreme Court to jump in, and they ruled the governor's office can call all legal shots, it appears, related to COVID. So the reason for that, if you decided to read, and I think you probably should, he pulled out a 1975 law that gives him all the power during a disaster. That's where this whole thing started. is the ability for the governor, again, which I think there's a huge political backdrop here, which is pretty fascinating by itself, and that is where the Republican Party is now. It is the party not of local control and less government. It is the party of you have to be an authority. It looks good and sounds good. I'm not saying that's all Greg Abbott's fault, but that is the mandate of the party now, that it is authoritarian. So you better pull out as many laws to be the leader, the legal leader. No more hands off, it's hands on. So seizing this, knowing that is the mantra of today, he pulls out a 1975 law. This is going back, 6 months to a year now. During a disaster, he has this legal power. The school districts say, we don't quite see it that way. Steve Adams, the mayor of Austin, comes on the show, says, we don't quite see it that way. A district judge has ruled in our favor. And then Abbott-Paxton, the fighting card, go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, the governor does have that. And that's exactly what Republicans want to hear. Authoritarian, big, big, big. You are the leader. So he plays that card. I don't think it can be completely dismissed that calling this a disaster, agree or disagree, the legal disaster, you do know that it's the same office that sent $250 million in disaster relief to a border wall that's never going to happen. So it's weird. It is hard to follow the legal connections and certainly a bizarre political backdrop. But here's where we are now, and then I think the thing takes a really, really weird twist. I think a fascinating fight is coming, and I think it's coming fast, and I think it's about 5 miles right down the road from where I'm sitting. I know public education is important. I know that it is the public's and it is the taxpayers, and it is a bizarre legal fight, but I think the next one is weird. Wait, more bizarre. Supreme Court's reported now the Texas Supreme Court stepped in Sunday to block lower court orders that allow Dallas and San Antonio to impose mask mandates contrary to an executive order by Governor Greg Abbott. Abbott and Attorney General Ken Paxton are challenging local mask mandates as illegal under the governor's emergency powers during a declared disaster. Paxton said on Twitter, "Let this ruling serve as a reminder to all school districts and local officials that the governor's order stands. Local mask mandates are illegal." Okay, hey, moral one, what are you going to do about it? What does Wednesday look like when some district, if they do it, and I think we could debate whether or not you think it's the right thing or the wrong thing for your school district. So this is your time, your money, your teachers, everything is yours. Do you want them to push back? And if and when one of them pushes back, then what happens with the Attorney General, who has already said, who tweeted out, these are illegal. He is throwing down the hammer. Now, we don't know what it means. What is it going to look like? What is this law breaking going to look like? Does the bus driver get a ticket? The principal get a ticket? Exactly how are they punished for breaking the law? Abbott says Texans must be responsible for their own health, took to Twitter to announce the ruling, saying anyone who wants to wear a mask can do so, including in schools. Okay. Now, is he going to get pushback? That's the next frontier, and you all know it. Is there going to be pushback? Now, this all goes back to this thing about a disaster from 1975 and all that kind of stuff. And you could argue whether or not that even should have been the starting point to all this. But here we go. The Texas Association of School Boards and Public School Districts are responsible for the health and safety of more than 5 million students who are required to attend schools. A blanket, this is their pushback, the legal pushback from these schools. Now, the question is, somewhere, as these poor superintendents and principals and teachers and our kids, we have no idea what's coming hour to hour, what to do hour to hour. Okay? Now, are they going to push back? And if so, what does finding someone breaking the law in public school, what form is that going to take? Is the party mandate, the Republican Party mandate, such that you want Paxton/Abbott to be such authoritarians that you now want them to go and start fining school districts, which, by the way, is your money. It's still your money. How do you want these lawbreakers to be handled, taxpayers? How would you like Abbott/Paxton? You're now together. I know his campaign probably not going to like them being lumped together, but the two of you are now lumped together. Deal with it. Live with it. You're one. So, what do you want your school districts to do? And then what do you, Republican Party, Republican mantra, what do you want the ticket of Abbott-Paxton to do about it? If you're really going to say people are breaking the law, then you need to go punish them for breaking the law. And what form will that take? You know it's coming. You know it. So the districts now say, quote, legally, a blanket prohibition against requiring masks in school districts is an intrusion on local authority and an impediment to school districts' ability to take local responsibility for the safety of a largely unvaccinated school population. Well, of course it should be local, but that's not the world we live in now. It's not. Local doesn't matter anymore. Hey, every guy can relate to this. You're tired of wearing those baggy cotton shirts that feel like you're wearing curtains. There's a difference. In fact, I'm wearing the difference. That is the ultra premium basics from goodlifeclothing.com. You'll love the shirts. I've been searching for a long time, like every guy, for the perfect lightweight shirt that looks good if you're in pretty good shape. It's at goodlifeclothing.com. Check them out. You'll see the difference for yourself. You'll feel the difference for yourself. It's the perfect shirt for this time of year in Austin, Texas. So, two things. Go to goodlifeclothing.com. You get a 20% discount if you enter the promo code JeffWard20. That's goodlifeclothing.com. Enter the promo code JeffWard20 or stop by their store domain Northside. You'll love the difference. You'll feel the difference. It's the perfect fit for a guy that's in good shape. It's goodlifeclothing.com, promo code JeffWard20, or stop by their brand new store at Domain Northside. So, school districts across the state are simply asking for the flexibility to set guidelines for student and staff health measures when their communities are demanding it and when school leaders determine if it would be best for their students and educators. The Dallas County Medical Society also, this is all happening on a Sunday when all of us want to ignore the entire thing. They're pushing back now and clearly stating what used to be a Republican position of local control. Let us decide what we want to do here, please. And the Abbott-Paxton ticket has said you are breaking the law. They're breaking the law. Well, if they do it, they're going to break the law. Dallas County Medical Society. Our emergency rooms are rapidly becoming overloaded because of the increased number of patients requiring emergency care. The workload is taking a toll on the physical and mental health of doctors and medical professionals, blah, 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 blah. Greg Abbott didn't say don't get vaccinated. He didn't say don't wear a mask. He just said you're breaking the law if you don't follow my mandate. They're now saying, you know what, we might just break the law. Imagine being in the public school industry today. Look what we've done to you. So then we get to the weird political position. We get to, this keeps coming up and it's really going to come to a head. And I think it's coming to a bigger head very soon. But what does this mean for people that work in public schools? Okay. I said I thought that he would win this. I didn't know how far he would push. I thought maybe there was political advantage since that's all he exists to do is to get a political advantage. I didn't know he would push it this far and this hard. Now he's really in a weird spot. He and his new best friend, his running mate, Ken Paxton, are stuck in a place where they're going to have to legally do something to someone who breaks the mandate, breaks the law. That's going to be weird. That's going to be awkward at best, unless, of course, he and his marketing people have decided that is exactly what the party wants to see. You want to see some principal get a ticket. If your kid has, never mind being a parent, never mind being a teacher. If your kid has asthma, what do you do? All those that said they were coming back to school are now probably saying we're not coming back to school. The anti-mask crowd that was out on Fridays now saying, we're back in. I mean, nobody knows what to do. And the weird thing is, and I know so bizarre that this is the political place that they're in. I can't believe it's a good place for Greg Abbott now. But it could have been so easy for him. I mean, think about how easy this would have been politically. Had he's going to get the MAGA vote anyway, wasn't he? Or maybe not. But he could have easily from the very beginning said, look, here's what I think should happen. This is what I think needs to happen. But I do trust that you and your local communities will make the best decisions for you. Done. Now look where he is. He is now joined at the hip to Ken Paxton, of all people, the moral one, the crusader, who now is threatening everyone. I mean, it would have been so easy. Would have been so easy. There would have been cover from the very beginning. But obviously that's not what the party wanted. The party wants him to be a hard ass. The party wants him to, I guess, write some tickets. Get him. He is stuck. He's stuck in this authoritarian wave of today. That's what this is. That's where he's stuck. And I don't mean the right or wrong thing about a mask, the right or wrong thing about a vaccine, the right or wrong thing about taking this political position that you're going to be the dictator. It's an authoritarian wave of today, and he's stuck in it. And now he's really stuck in a bizarre place. But there's a more interesting thing around the corner. So there's this fight. It's chaos. All we can do now is sit back and just wait and watch your local districts react. And then watch Paxton Abbott react to that. Something tells me, sadly, for most normal thinking human beings, but something tells me the marketing team says the authoritarian wave of today matters most. Governor, they're going to want you to do something to them. Go get that urban district. I think that's the mandate he's going to be given if and when somebody breaks the law. Okay, here's what I think is around the corner. Quite a pivot from what's really important, public education, to something you would say is not so important. That would be a music festival. I think this one gets even weirder, and I think it's the elephant in the room, and that is a giant music festival that is set to take place not long from now, about 5 miles from where I'm sitting. This one, I think, really gets weird. Okay, so what's happened now is these, you don't have to care about a music festival, but what you do want to watch is how this one plays out. Now it's reported Live Nation is a ticket sponsor, ticket broker, gigantic. Live Nation is now requiring all artists, crew, and attendees to show proof of full vaccination or negative test at their venues and upcoming festivals. Why does it matter? What do you mean? There's 400,000 people that are supposed to be right down the road very soon, and you've got a governor and attorney general combined saying, don't do it, you're breaking the law. They're already threatening the school bus driver. What do you think they're going to do to a music promoter? Uh-oh. The concert giant previously announced that it would be up to the artist whether to enforce the mandate. Live Nation further clarified guidelines. Now the requirement is for all shows at their venues starting in early October. Live Nation has also developed best practices for artists to request these policies at third-party venues. The company has added, vaccines are going to be your ticket back to shows. We will be following the model we developed for Lollapalooza and requiring this for artists, fans, and employees of Live Nation venues and festivals everywhere possible in the U.S. That's from the president of the company. Live Nation employees must be vaccinated. The new mandate was spurred in part by Live Nation's success or lack of super spreader event at the Lollapalooza concert in Chicago. 12% of fans said the concert was the reason for getting vaccinated. They say, how's this going to be a big deal, Jeff? What do you mean, how's it not going to be a big deal? It's on from what we know. And that's 395,000 people. And by the way, there's a law that says you can't do this, we think. Now what? Concert promoters AEG instituted a COVID-19 mandate that required all eligible concert goers, excluding children 12 and under, to be fully vaccinated. Okay, so there's the business side of the music festival saying, here's our rule, here's the way we're going forward. The artists now are stepping up, and many of them are saying, we're not playing unless, right? Now, you're not supposed to be able to have that mandate, and that's the next frontier for Abbott-Paxton, which I think if you want to watch an even more entertaining fight, that one's going to be more MAGA points for them, is fighting concert promoters, fighting the people in Austin, fighting people going to a show. So now there are groups announcing that they are only going to play in places, and I don't know of any yet, other than Stevie Nicks stepping out, other than these that are going to announce here in a few weeks that they're not going to play in Austin. I don't know. Does it come up? Why wouldn't it come up? Laugh all you want. Fish, Phish, for those that don't follow it, Fish announced they will require proof of full vaccination against COVID-19 or a recent negative test as a prerequisite to attend their shows, joining a growing list of U.S. bands, solo artists, and concert venues implementing enhanced restrictions. If you've been completely lost and you're saying, well, gosh, that's kind of common sense. Yeah, well, there's an issue here in the state of Texas. You're not supposed to be able to do that legally. You can't have the rule. So laugh all you want. But remember, 5 miles from where I'm sitting, there are a few 100,000 people supposed to be strolling around a park. Now what? Maroon 5. God help me. I don't even like saying it. Maroon 5 announced they're going to require proof of vaccination or negative COVID-19 test to attend their shows. Dead & Company, featuring John Mayer, is also saying that they're going to require a vaccination card or negative test. The Killers, okay, that matters. They matter. Are also requiring ticket holders to provide proof of vaccination or negative diagnostic test within 48 hours of prior to entry. The Eagles, who are on tour, sadly not coming to Austin, also to the list. The Foo Fighters were the ones that started this. They're saying, continue to say, we're not playing unless there's this mandate in place. You get the idea. You get where this is going. Public education is one thing. It's a crazy, weird fight. This one's an elephant in the room. Right? Summerfest 2021. I have no idea what that's about, but that's in Milwaukee, and the Aftershock show, set to take place in Sacramento, are among the many music festivals making proof of vaccination or a negative test result a prerequisite to attending. Okay. So between the promoters, the businesses, and the artists, that seems to be kind of a growing trend that seems to be, correct me if I'm wrong, on a collision course with the team of Abbott-Paxton, correct? How's that one going to play out? What does that one look like? I don't know who's going to be handing out these tickets, but you're going to be awfully busy over the next 6 weeks.
From the Hot Pie Media Studios in Austin, Texas, it's the Jeff Ward Show. Listen at jeffwardshow.com.